Now another type of personal loan that you can get is called a payday loan, which also may be called a cash advance. So for a payday loan, this is considered to be a short-term loan where a person can borrow a small sum of money using a future paycheck as collateral. Now on payday loans, we're going to assume that the banker's rule does not apply. So if the banker's rule does not apply, we're not going to consider a year to have 360 days. We will say a year has 365 days. So here's an example where maybe a payday loan would apply. So you have to bring your car in for repairs, but you're short on money. So you decide to take out a payday loan, so you're going to borrow $600 from check into cash. Now they charge $15.50 for every $100 borrowed. What is the APR of the loan if you have to pay it back in 13 days? So these types of loans are meant to be real short. So the idea is where 13 days is within the next 2 weeks you should be getting a paycheck. So then when you get that paycheck, the idea is you tell them, hey, if you give me this money right now, when I get my next paycheck, I'll pay you back. So you're not only going to have to pay them back the $600, but you will then also have to pay them back the interest. So this is where this is going to come in. This is the cost of doing business. They're going to charge you $15.50 for every $100 borrowed. Now normally to take out a payday loan, you're going to need a paycheck stub to show that you have a job that's giving you regular paychecks, and you're going to need a bank account. Normally that's the bank account that the paychecks you would ultimately deposit into. So how this comes about then is that when this loan comes due in 13 days, this company just goes right into your bank account and they withdraw those funds. Okay, so then ultimately what's going to be the APR of this loan if these are the conditions? So they're going to charge you $15.50 for every $100 borrowed. So the interest, or the cost of doing business, is going to be $15.50 times 6, or $93. So that's going to be the interest charged. So ultimately then we can use this formula as I is equal to PRT. So the interest that's going to be charged for you is $93. The principal, or the initial loan amount, was $600. The rate of this loan is unknown, and the time that the loan is going to be out is going to be 13 days. So we're going to express that in terms of 13 out of 365, because ultimately I want to find an annual percentage rate, so I have to talk about 13 days in terms of what fraction of a year this is. Okay, so this is the equation that I have to solve. So there's a couple different ways you could work through the calculations over here, but you cannot round until the very, very end when you have to figure out the APR of the loan. So one of the things that we could do is we could multiply maybe both sides by 365 to clear this fraction. Okay, so then we would get some canceling right here. So then on this side we would have 93 times 365, or 33,945. And then over here on this side, if I just multiply the stuff that's left over here, I would have 600 times R times 13, which would give me 7,800. And then R. So to solve this thing for R, we can divide both sides by 7,800. So maybe I'll do that in another color as well so you can see the inverse operations. Dividing both sides by 7,800, we get R is equal to, now upon doing this division, we're getting 4.3519 blah blah blah. Alright, this is your interest rate, but in its decimal form. So how do you convert from a decimal to a percent? You have to move this decimal to the right 2 spots. So if I just maybe round this to the nearest percent, we just found that the APR on this loan is going to be 435%. Now that may seem outrageous, but it's really not. These checking places actually are now sometimes regulated by the government because of the APRs they were charging people on the loan. They were taking advantage of people that were maybe on hard times, and they were charging them these outrageous APRs on the loans that they were giving them. So this is maybe not unreasonable. It used to be maybe APRs higher than this. Okay, so this is a 435% loan that you just took out. So you owe a lot of money back to them for the money that you borrowed over the 13-day period.